So I have this sketchbook that I've had for about 8 to 9 months, and I'm almost finished with it. And I thought today could be a fun sketchbook session where I finished this. I've done something similar to this about 1 or 2 months ago, and I really enjoyed how that turned out. It didn't perform amazing on my channel, but I thought I want to do it again. So this is the Pinterest reference picture for this. So first of all, I'm going to start with choosing some colors. And last week I did these portraits with acrylic markers, and I combined brown and purple together, and I really like that. So I think I might be doing this color combo on here. Maybe something like this, and then I'll be using one of these two. So how I'm gonna start with this, I will do a base layer over the whole face, but firstly I want to get rid of some of the construction lines. And saying that, I got some graphite on it, but yeah, that's rubbing off. I'm going to identify where the most bright parts of this portrait are, because I might leave them white. I want to give a tone to the whole page. I'm gonna follow the planes of the face while I do that. I'm going around in the direction where the face is. I'm also going to remap where the darkest areas of these are. Now with the cheekbones, it's quite hard because they're very curved, so what I like to do is kind of go into some C shapes on them. It's a lot of different directions of shading, and I think a lot of the times when it comes to portraits, it's a lot about knowing when to leave harsh lines and when to have softer lines. Okay, I think I might introduce a slightly pinkish hue, because I'm looking at the reference picture and I think that's what's missing. I don't actually do very blended portraits a lot, but I wanted to do something different and a bit out of my comfort zone. I always find it strange and hard to talk and draw at the same time, and I find it really fascinating when there are other art YouTubers who do it a lot. I keep stopping, so I either stop drawing or I stop talking, and yeah, doing it at the same time I find it such a challenge. Right, and now that I have the base, I like to start putting a few details in, just so the portrait is looking a bit better, because I mean, let's admit it, it's looking a bit rough at the moment. If I can get this pencil to work, this will be our base. I probably have to let go of this pencil very soon. And with the pencil being a bit blunt, it does give that smoky eye effect. Now let's go on the other eye. I really hope I'm not in the frame. That's another thing I find hard when I'm filming. It's having the camera in the right angle and not being in the way, because I don't have an overhead tripod, and I think even if I had one, I'll always have my head in it. Let's put some eyebrows in as well. I'm not sure if you can take this as a portrait tutorial. You can if you want. This is my process. Yeah, I'll have to go off camera a second just to get those eyebrows going. Another thing I keep doing is adjusting the sketchbook in a way that makes things easier for me to draw. So as a reference to how I usually do portraits, where I leave a lot of the white of the page and I'm only focusing on the big strokes, and yeah, I'm not blending too much. I just have to check if I'm recording. Like, imagine if I've been just talking to myself for like 10 minutes, not recording anything. Okay, definitely the under the nose shadow needs to happen with this pencil. Yeah, not the best idea to use this pencil, just because I can't sharpen it anymore, but that's on me at the end of the day. Sometimes when it comes to shading, if I want to do something a bit more blended, I go into like circular motions, so something like this. I think that works quite nicely for blending effects. And just as a rule, your top lip is always going to be darker than your lower lip. Your lip is curved this way, right? So if you have lighting coming from the top, which you usually would do, it casts shadows on that lip. And because this lip is pointed upwards, that's where the light hits. It hits here. So it casts the shadow on the top lip. And this is where your lip is lighter on the bottom. So I usually go quite light when I'm doing the lips. I do like to define the middle line, and I can see there is a bit of a reflection at the top of the lip. There is a bit of light hitting here. She's got lipstick on, so obviously it's not quite so natural. The corners of the mouth would always be a bit darker. It's crazy how as soon as you put your features on, everything is starting to take shape. She has obviously a light right in front of her face where it's brightening this, and even a bit here. And yeah, I would like to know if you like these type of videos, because I am trying to get better at it, because I was looking back at the one I did last time, and it was nice to see my process and hear my thinking, because a lot of the times I can't remember why I did something the way I did, but because I got it on camera, I know exactly what my process behind it was and why I made that decision. And I think that's why I quite like watching these types of videos from different people, because you do learn, you know exactly why someone has done something, what's the reasoning, and you can include it in your own practice if it resonates with you. I find this purple is actually quite nice to use around the eye area, and yeah, I thought it would be nice to warm it up a bit, to make it look like there's more blood pumping, and just to get a different color in there. And I'm tempted to add a bit of blue into it as well, and just a bit of green, because in the reference picture I do see some greenish tones, some bluish tones. Hopefully it's looking like what I'm doing here, it's making a difference. I'm gonna bring a bit of this grey just to make things a bit darker where I want them to be. I don't want details in the hair, so I'm just creating just a bit of contrast, and yeah, I might even just go with a bit of the black just to darken this area so you can't see 100% that sharp line between the hairline and the portrait. So this is the final first portrait. This has taken me much longer than I thought it would, so that's why I don't usually like to do these really blended type of portraits, because I find it a bit time consuming for such a small size. Because I think in comparison, let's go to some other portraits. Maybe like these ones have taken me 25 minutes each, if that. And yeah, I spent an hour doing it. I mean, I do really like the end result. I think it's really cool, but now I wish I didn't do another portrait on this page, because I'm kind of like over it. But it's sketched now, so let's do another one. This is the reference picture we're working with for the second one. Right, like the first one, I'm just going to get rid of the construction lines. I mapped out where my lightest areas are, and now I'm putting down this pink pencil here as a base. Doing the same steps as the first one. I mapped my highlights, I did a tone over the whole complexion, and now I'm darkening the areas that I need to be darker. After that, I think I'm going to work on the features on the eyes and the mouth. And while I'm drawing on this, I wanted to talk about something that I found quite interesting. So this morning I was watching a video by Katie Moody where she was talking about how some people are quite judgmental of how other people use their sketchbooks. So for example, she does a lot of finalized work in her sketchbook, and there are some people out there that think sketchbooks should only be for rough sketches and scribbling ideas, and I find that quite saddening in a way, because I think we should be able to use our sketchbooks however we want, and especially nowadays we live in a world where we don't all have to be oil painters. It's not like all of your work needs to be on canvas to be able to call yourself an artist. If you want to work primarily in your sketchbook and use your sketchbook as a very pretty and arranging all of your compositions there, I really don't understand what the issue with that could be. Just in general, trying to tell someone how to use their sketchbook, I feel like it's the exact opposite of being creative, and that made me think quite a bit. And it also reminded me when I did a video last summer, I think it was sketchbook ideas, so it was literally me giving ideas that you can try in your sketchbook, and I titled the video ideas to fill up your sketchbook or something like that, because I saw that's quite a popular title for those types of videos. And I got a few comments that was saying, oh, why would I ever want to fill up my sketchbook? What is this idea of rushing people to fill up their sketchbooks? And I thought that wasn't my intention at all. I didn't even ever mention in the video the concept of filling up your sketchbook. Yeah, again, it's some people out there that feel like they're so judgmental of what you do with your own sketchbook and creativity. And even if you want to fill up your sketchbook, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, right now I'm just doing this session because I have 3 pages left and I want to finish this sketchbook because I want to start a new one. I had about a year in this sketchbook, and I feel like I'm ready for a new challenge when it comes to my sketchbook. I would love to hear, what do you think about this? Do you feel like you're not a real artist if you don't use... Should I do green? Sorry, just as a parenthesis, should I do green as my shadows? And yeah, do you feel like if you are mostly in your sketchbook, you're not a real artist? It's just an interesting concept, and I'm not sure if it's coming from art school, because yes, they do teach you to use your sketchbook only for like sketches and ideas, and they want you to do your final and bigger pieces out of a sketchbook. So I'm not sure if that's where the misconception comes from. It just made me think how we should all be happy with what we're doing, and if it brings us joy to do a certain thing, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day we just want to be creative and create things and even just inspire others. If it brings you joy to open up your sketchbook and spend 2 hours in it without thinking of I better save up for a bigger canvas. I think that's what you should do at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm really curious of what you think about this subject. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I know her eyes are blue, but I want to make them green. That's what I've decided in my creative freedom. Again, I don't want to go super detailed into the hair. I want it to be more of a suggestion. So I'm just going to concentrate on where the darks are and go from there. This one was more difficult, I think, as a portrait than the previous one, because the skin tone in the picture was so bright. You couldn't get that contrast. And also, I don't think I have quite the right pencils for this. I was really in need of a cool brown that wasn't too dark, and I don't really have that. As you can see, I think this was the best one I have, what I'm using for the hair, but it's quite warm. So in the end, I was just using grey, and I did have to use a bit of black around as well. Yeah, a challenging portrait. The eyes are not quite right. I'm not the happiest with how they've turned out. So let's see if I can fix them in any way. And I'm going to take actually just a tiny bit of white gouache. Might do some here on the nose. And yeah, I think that's it with this portrait too. I think it was a bit less time consuming. Not necessarily my favorite portrait, but I do quite like it. It's quite interesting.